Good morning. It's Monday, kind of a chilly Monday, but I'm happy to see the sun. And I have Karl here from the Farm Bureau. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Normally we have you on Fridays, but we had Mr. Hans Deal on, the doctor, good doctor, talking about chip on Friday, so we bumped you guys to Monday. Glad you could come in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you wanted to talk about the meeting, the PUD meeting that's happening on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Farm Bureau membership real quick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead for it.
We're always looking for members. We have a meeting on the third Monday of every month, and this month it's actually going to be at the Fern. We had something happen at the Shiloh, so we're going to do it at the Fern. You'll walk in the front door and turn to the left in the game room. It worked out. We may go back, but
You mean the arcade room?
in the arcade room, yeah. So this month it will be at the Fern at 6:30. Order off the menu.
Their pizzas are delicious.
Oh, you know what? It's all their food's good.
I know.
And
I like the Fern.
there's not a lot. We need more options. I feel like sometimes because there's everywhere you go, there's a line. But
Yeah.
I guess that's just how it is. So if you're a Farm Bureau member, make sure you pay your dues. That's a big deal. The Farm Bureau at the state level in Salem fights for our rights to be farmers, and those dues help pay those people's wages. And like cap and trade got put off until 2019, which was a really big one. Lisa goes,
I'm
Lisa
looking
goes,
it up right now.
She's like, what exactly is that? And she said, even Derek Josie couldn't answer that question. And I said, well,
listening, he's laughing. 'Cause
yeah,
I was like,
he's
can you
laughing.
explain that? And he was like, not really.
Well, it's complex. Basically, in my terms, it's just another way to tax us. Immediately, if that was to pass, our gas, well, through the dealers like Sheldon's and everyone that sells it, they would be passed a tax, which would be the equivalent of 16 cents a gallon, which is pretty substantial. Immediately, so that would get passed on to us, whether it's gas, diesel, whatever, and then they're saying power would go up, and I think it's mainly a state. It's happening.
Here is
in
what.
the
Now I'm
state.
gonna preface what I'm about to say with it's Wikipedia, so that doesn't, because anybody can go in and edit Wikipedia. I don't know if people
Right.
understand that. But it says this is the American Clean Energy and Security Act, a cap and trade system under which the government would set a limit or a cap on the total amount of greenhouse gases that can be emitted nationally. Companies then buy or sell permits to emit these gases, primarily carbon dioxide. The cap is reduced over time to reduce total carbon emissions.
Yeah. Well, and then they tried to pass another form of a cow fart tax on everybody, and I'm not exactly sure where that's at, but I heard it's kind of got pushed off also because it was so vague. But it could have. I was reading something on it last night. A farm, and this was for big farms, but even a small farm, if you didn't register or how do I say it, check off every day or check in every day, you could be levied a fine of $54,000 a day, whether you have 6 beef cows or 2 sheep. It's just crazy. And that's
Check in every day with what?
you have to with your animals, and you have to let them know, how many you have. I mean, it's a paperwork nightmare is what it is. And there again, you start reading about it, and it's so sketchy that, but it's like they're trying to tax the middle class right out of business, is what in my opinion. But anyway, the main that's depressing. We got to get off here. But the main reason that I'm here today is the power line that the PUD is trying to put through. I'm going to just read. I have 9 quick things. Why should we stop the lines? How does it affect you? Avoid rate increases on power to pay for the transmission lines. We don't need added capacity. That's a debatable one there. 2, eliminate visual impacts and preserve coveted territorial, ocean, and horizon views. Another power line is just going to be crazy. 3, protect valuable farmland, dairy, and forest land. 4, keep farmland from being divided, damaged, and permanently affected by overhead lines. 5, avoid unnecessary health
Unnecessary
risks
health risks. Mm-hmm.
of stray voltage and electromagnetic radiation to humans and animals. Having said that, we on 3rd Street growing up, we had some stray voltage, and we were across the highway from the what do you call it, substation, and we had to do some special things there. And I know other people have had trouble, and believe it or not, I think it's because our soil is so wet that the voltage actually, it doesn't ground out like it's supposed to. So 6, avoid significant decreases in property values. The high voltage overhead line would run across
and through and within.
And within 700 feet of hundreds of private homes and property between Tillamook and Oceanside. 7, eliminate the need to cut 22,000 trees for the line installation between Tillamook and Oceanside. 8, protect wildlife and their habitat by avoiding impacts to nearby estuaries and the recently completed southern flow corridor. 9, avoid forest fire danger caused by transmission lines in the heavily wooded areas of Oceanside and Etarts. I don't know if it ever gets that dry, but it could. The biggest thing, people look at me sometimes and they say, well, what are you talking about, Karl? So I'm a farmer. My backyard happens to be 40 acres. Your backyard happens to be a quarter of an acre or 4 acres.
It's 3/4 of an acre.
Okay. All right. But still, your 3/4 of an acre is just as important to you as the 30 acres in my backyard.
Coincidentally, I don't have a transmission line, but I do have a PUD line in my backyard.
Well, and that's,
But it's only for one house, and it's the house at the top of our hill.
And, we have, so that's not a transmission line.
No, it's not. It's
you
not as powerful.
Power, but, there's a lot of, so basically, the reason we brought this up, there's a meeting on March 8th at the
which is
courthouse
Thursday
at 7 p.m., and I believe it's in the commissioner's room. Please come, whether you're for it or against it. We need people there so that the land use committee can hear your opinion.
Right.
And your opinion, whether you got a quarter of an acre or 400 acres, is really important. So please come. We need power. I'm not saying that. It's just, I'm going to say this because it's in Mazay's, their farm has been owned for 100 years in that family.
Right.
And this line's going to go through right next to Bart's house. Okay. High voltage.
Right.
Right next to your house. How would you like that?
Well, and not only that, I know when Kurt was in, he mentioned that it's going to split his farm in half. So he's not going to have one big open field now. He's going to have 2 smaller fields with the cows and all of that.
Well, the cows can go under, but you definitely don't want them to stay right underneath. And then, like I said, the stray voltage, they say it doesn't happen, but you know what? When it's there. I mean, I've seen guys in the valley when we used to haul hay that they had stray voltage problems. It's an issue that you have to, continually deal with to keep it. And, so if they came to him and said, hey, could we put it on the dike on the edge of the river and be less invasive? But they're basically just saying
it's
this
just
is
cutting
where
right through the middle.
Yeah, and it's more than one person. There's a whole list of people affected.
Right. Well, and again, it's not just the line. They have to take a road to get the equipment out there. They got to put up a fence. I mean, it's not just a line that's going to have to go in. It'll have to be a lot of other things to get the line in.
We have one going through the corner of our farm on 3rd Street, and it happened when I was just a youngster, and it just goes through the corner, and then it goes through Hogan's, which used to be Fletcher's, and so it affected everybody a little bit, but they got to put a line up. I don't know.
Well, it was just a little bit. I think this is a bigger issue.
This is a way bigger issue, and I mean, is it really needed? I mean, can they? I don't. As a business owner, I want to do things that make the most sense. Why not use an existing right-of-way, the one along the road, put bigger poles in, multitask the same route maybe, but maybe there's a reason they can't. I don't know. No one said, but.
I know that they can't use the existing poles because of they're not, Kurt said something about they're not,
big
They're
enough.
they're deteriorating.
Right.
And the line's deteriorating. So they can't move the existing line onto a new pole, but I'm not sure about building new poles.
Yeah, I don't.
But I'll bet you'll be there on Thursday and
I'll be
you'll
there
probably
Thursday
be able to
and
ask that question.
We'll, we've learned a lot. We had a meeting at the creamery about 3 weeks ago with all the landowners, and the room was full. There was a lot of people there. And,
Well, because it doesn't affect just farms; it affects
Oh,
private
there's
residences.
private
right?
residents. It's it's not just farmers. We're not. It's.
I
Not
mean, you're
just-
here talking on behalf of the
on
Farm
behalf
Bureau,
of
but
them, and there'll be just citizens at the meeting also that aren't farmers. They're just as your quarter acre is just as important to us, and your rights with your quarter or 3/4 of an acre or 4 acres
Right.
is just as important to us as our 30 acres or 40 acres. It's farmland that some of it's been in the families for a long time, and we just don't want someone to come and take it away. And they're not even paying market value. That's the other thing. They're offering a one-time price that's really not acceptable.
So Thursday, and there are, I just pulled up, somebody had posted the page that you're reading. If you've seen it on Facebook, it's a white square or a white rectangle with red and black writing. There's a lot of comments on it. This was just one person. I just Googled it and it popped up, but a lot of commentary. So hopefully there will be a good turnout on Thursday, 7:00 at the courthouse.
Yeah.
Right.
The courthouse, 7 p.m. I believe it's in the second story or the second, the commissioner's room, I think. I get confused, but there'll be a sign there, and just follow the traffic. There'll be plenty of people. Come a little early so you can get a seat, because the room will fill up quick, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I assume there will be a lot of people there from Neatarts and Oceanside, because that's really who is the end customer of that transmission line.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I used to have an employee that worked for me that lived in Neatarts, and, power went out in Neatarts before it went out anywhere else. So, I mean, they need reliable and good service, but I don't know. I just hope we could come to some sort of an
Right.
agreement that everybody likes a little better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, having said that, we're always looking for new members for Farm Bureau. Todd Luthold is our membership person. If you don't know him, he likes to talk. You could get to know him. 801-3074, or my number is 807-9684. Give either of us a call.
And you don't have to be a farmer to be a member.
No, there's 2 different levels. There's voting, which you have to make $2,500 a year off of your land or some farm product, whether it be honey or selling a couple sheep or having some pigs that you sell to fair kids. And then the associate would be if you just bought country company's insurance. You'd be an associate member that way. But voting, actually get a voice. You're all in, anyone can come to our meetings and get involved.
Hey, I didn't realize I was talking to the president.
Yeah, I'm the Tillamook County Farm Bureau president. I think it's going on 6 years now.
Wow.
Well, we'd like to get a new secretary. Carol Marie's very active in a lot of other areas, and so we're looking. Everybody says, well, we're too busy, or I got too much going on. Well, I'm busy too. Occasionally we skip a meeting in the spring and maybe in the fall, or I have to have the vice president run a meeting because I'm in a chopper.
Sure.
But, everybody's busy, but if we all give just a little bit of time, we make a difference.
Yep.
And
that's how things get done.
Yeah. And then I'm learning too, you don't have to do it all yourself. You can designate, and that works really cool if you have people underneath you that'll help. Anyway.
And as a member, you not only support the Tillamook Farm Bureau and the Oregon Farm Bureau, but there's a bunch of discounts and things like that.
Yeah, let me read them. There's the Windham.
Hold on, let me take a quick break. I'm
Okay.
going to take a quick break about Tillamook Motor Company, and then you can go through those.
Okay.
Are you ready to go to work? Tillamook Motor Company has huge discounts on commercial vans, plus 0% financing for up to 72 months. Ford Transit vans stand head and shoulders above the competition. Configure the cargo doors to suit your job with a cargo box floor that is flat with near vertical sides for maximum usable space. Choose from our wide range of products designed to suit different trades, cargo dividers, multi-racks, bulkheads, and sliding platforms. Use your imagination to create one hardworking vehicle designed with you in mind. Take a test drive today at Tillamook Motor Company on the friendly corner of 5th and Main in downtown Tillamook. Tillamook Motor Company, a better place to do business. So we're talking with Karl Zweifel from the Farm Bureau, president of the Farm Bureau.
Tillamook County Farm Bureau president.
Yeah, woohoo.
Yeah.
And we're talking about being a member, and it's not, the membership dues aren't astronomical.
No, like everything, prices have gone up. I believe it's $120 now for a voting membership. And it was $105 for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there's 2 whole pages of things here. John Deere, if you have a John Deere lawnmower or tractor, you can get discounts. Case used to be on here, but I don't see them anymore.
Yeah, they're online.
There's supervised fuels. There's Air Med Care, Granger Case. There it is right there. Caterpillar.
Hotels.
Gas. There's 2 different hotel chains that give you 20% off. Trip Beat Avis gives you 25% off if you do it online.
Mm-hmm.
Budget, so Avis and Budget. I mean, if you just rent a car
rental.
once or twice a year, you're going to get your $100 back pretty easy.
And if you're renting a car, most likely you're probably traveling somewhere and staying in a hotel. So, yeah.
So if you plan in advance, you could probably get it all back the first time. There's just lots of options. And, if you ask somebody that is a member, they can give you what they've done to save. We were on the phone program for quite some time. We saved like 12%.
Like Verizon or something.
Yeah, it was Verizon, but they've canceled it now because there's so many Verizon, they're trying to be competitive with everybody else, so they've changed their plans. But, it's just, I'm a 4th generation farmer that I know of, and Derek Josie's 4, and Kurt Mazay's 3 or 4. It's about the land. It's about the farmers are less than 1%. Less than 1% of the population feeds everybody. People drive by us when we're on the road, give us the finger, and try to run us off the road when we're driving a tractor. It's like, and they're drinking a Coke, and they probably just got done eating some meat. And, they don't realize.
I do. That was just funny.
Well, I'm just saying, we don't want to be in people's way.
Right.
And we don't need them in our way.
You're not out there driving on the road going, ha, 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 I'm keeping up 20 cars.
So.
You're probably stressed about it.
Well, and maybe the sheer size of the tractors might scare them. But we're on the road a lot because we're moving around, working for many different people. But
I feel like for the most part, people around here, like locals, we expect it. I mean, I know if I get out on Trask behind a tractor, I'm going to have to wait a while. Not a big deal. Usually they're not going super far. It's not like they're driving 20 miles on 101.
It's real funny because someone will pass and then you come to the first light in town and they're the second car in front of them or you're right behind them, So it's just, give us just a break just for a second because, and my guys all have training and it's about safety. We need to share the road so we can all get there safe. And so the meeting Thursday night on the power line's really important. I'd ask that if you're listening to take a little bit of time and come to hear for the land use hearing on March 8th at 7 p.m. courthouse.
About the PUD transmission line.
About the PUD transmission line.
There will be board. It's because is it a board meeting or it's a special meeting for the transmission line?
Well, I think it's just, it doesn't say. I'm thinking it's their normal meeting. And so we made a to the PUC. We basically pled our case to the PUC, and they're like, "Nah, we don't listen." You know, that's
the PUC or the PUD?
PUC Commission.
Oh,
it's
the
Public Utility Commission, which is above the PUD.
Right,
and
it's a
like,
state commission, right?
Yes, yeah. And they're like, you know what, we don't go there.
Involved.
So it's basically going to depend on what the land use committee decides. And I know there's some lawyers getting involved. I mean, you know, they're trying to cut their farm in half. And, you know, Oftemeyer's been very involved. And, I mean, it affects a lot of people. And, you know.
It's interesting because I know, like, I grew up in Sand Lake. And so every time there was a windstorm, we were out of power for 4 or 5 days. And then at some point, they buried a lot of them underground, especially alongside the road there on Sand Lake Road, which saved a lot of that and kind of eliminated a lot of that. But what I'm reading online, and I think kind of what Kurt was talking about, is that while, yes, they will go without power, it's not such a big need to bury it underground or even replace it. It's, yeah, I wish he would have shown up.
Well, it was
a while ago when he came in, and so I'm remembering parts and pieces of our conversation, but not like the whole full story.
Kind of got involved in this just in the last 2 months. They've been fighting this for a long time.
Hey, it's 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had been so much or so in depth, and I might not be the best person to tell you everything that's going on, but I was promoting the meeting and talking a little bit about Farm Bureau. And
I think the biggest message that the opponents are trying to get out there is that there are several less expensive options that still meet the needs of what is happening, but it doesn't mean that they have to take eminent domain and take land.
Yeah.
And potentially cut through.
I don't know that they've done eminent domain yet, but it may come to that. I don't know. You know, it's just, when it affects you, it's a big deal. This only is affecting, you know, maybe 14 or 15 people, but then it also is going to go by, you know, hundreds of residential houses within a few, you know, less than 1,000 feet. So it probably depends what you read on how bad or how much that high voltage can do to you. But anyway.
So Thursday, March 8th, 7 p.m., Tillamook County Courthouse. If anything that we have talked about in relation to the transmission line has piqued your interest, or you feel passionately about it one way or the other,
please come to
please go, because I do think it needs to have a obviously a well-rounded conversation that needs to be had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that sounds like that's what the intention is on Thursday. I don't know that any decisions are being made on Thursday.
No, I don't think so. It's just,
yeah, but it's an opportunity for the community to talk to the PUD board members and, have that well-rounded discussion.
You know, so back to Farm Bureau a little bit on the cap and trade.
You're all over the place today. Do you know that?
I jump around a little bit, Lisa, but I was talking to Mr. Derek Josie this morning. And
hi, Derek. I'm sure he's listening.
He might be taking a nap. It's hard to say, but, you know, our farms in Tillamook County, our carbon footprint has the farms are bigger, but we're like 41%. I'm going to say this wrong. I wrote it down and I didn't bring the piece of paper.
Shame on you.
That's terrible. So the reason our carbon footprint's less than it was back in the 60s is because our animals are more productive. So we're milking less cows and getting more milk. Now we're milking more cows and getting more milk. But, you know, it's just amazing. Did
you lose your train of thought?
Yes.
Were you talking about cap and trade?
Well, the cap and trade. No, I mean, that's carbon.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of everything. But I just, everything
Bureau.
kind of comes back to farms, for me. And I get sidetracked, but that's all right.
It's been an entertaining interview today.
It's well, I didn't have Derek here kicking me in the foot or somebody keeping things straight.
Surprised he's not texting you.
Like I said, he's probably taking a nap.
Mm-hmm.
But
the Farm Bureau does good work. There is the pilot program that's happening right now with the wetlands restoration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, and they're having the farm forestry fisheries
Fisheries
tour
tour.
again this year. My mom was telling me, and David Yamamoto's putting something
Mm-hmm.
together for the
Other county commissioners.
so they can come and see what's going on,
Yep.
because actually a lot of people really, really enjoyed that tour last year. And
I think that general public would enjoy that tour.
well, I
But
think
it's not something, I know it takes a lot of time.
well,
kinda
it's
coordinate and do.
and it's kind of like education, people just need to know what's going on, and then they're less scared of it
Right.
because they're not sure, so it looks scary. But
Yeah.
that's coming up. I don't know. I want to say my mom said in June, the middle of June. She asked me to make time, and I'm like, that might be bad, but I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You mean for a farm tour?
well, for me to be there, that's
yeah.
in the spring. I'm really busy for a few months, and then in the fall. So June is spring.
Kind
month
of right there, yeah.
for us.
The end of spring.
So,
All right. Well, we're out of time.
thank you,
You're welcome.
Tillamook, for listening.
Hey, that's my line.
Oh,
That's what I say at the end.
well, I listen all the time. So.
You want to promote your meeting again?
One more time, March 8th, 7 p.m. at the courthouse. Come, it's regarding Tillamook PD and the
Thursday.
high
This
voltage.
Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday, high voltage transmission line.
And then
Our normal meetings are
is it on the 19th? That's the third Monday.
Yep, third Monday.
So March 19th at the Fern.
Yep.
At what time?
6:30.
6:30. Okay. Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Lisa.
Tomorrow we'll have Bill Bartline here. Don't forget, senior meals, 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also noon every weekday at the Kiowa Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. Friday is another Sip and Shop downtown from 5 to 7 p.m. Participating businesses will be offering tastes of their favorite wine along with light snacks and a variety of sales. Businesses include Art Accelerated, Home Life Furniture, Lucky Bear Soap, Madeline's Vintage Marketplace, Pacific Restaurant, Phoenix Exchange, Sarasota, Sunflower Flats, So Chic Boutique, and Yo Time. And then, after the Sip and Shop, head on over to Tappa's Barn Theater down by Les Schwab to catch the premiere of Sweethearts, a comedy. They'll have shows Friday and Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 2. Tickets are available at Diamond Art Jewelers, 842-7940. And happy birthday to Pink Eggert. But I don't think she's here. I think she's in Disneyland. So she didn't hear it. Carl, thanks for coming in again.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tillamook, for listening.